Let's get right into it. In the massive world of the internet that we all live in, some pretty wild mysteries pop up. And most of the time, the online community is amazing at solving them. But this is the story of the one they couldn't solve. Or maybe the one they were told to just forget.
So where does this whole thing kick off? A place we all know pretty well, Reddit. But what started appearing wasn't a normal conversation, it wasn't a meme, it wasn't anything familiar. It was something that felt, well, alien. Something that just didn't belong.
So let's meet the main character of our story. Or maybe the villain. An account on Reddit with a name that honestly looks like a Wi-Fi password somebody just mashed on the keyboard. A858DE45F56D9BC9. And for years, all this account ever did was post these massive walls of text, just dense, endless blocks of code.
But the weirdest part? There was zero humanity to it. I mean, just imagine an account that only broadcasts complex data, day in and day out. It never once commented on anything, never sent a single private message, no jokes, no opinions, not even a typo, nothing. Just this silent, relentless stream of code. It was kind of creepy, to be honest.
At first, nobody really took it seriously. I mean, why would you? It just looked like more internet noise. But that idea was about to change, and change dramatically. Yeah, the first reaction from pretty much everyone was, oh, it's just a broken bot. Spam, ignore it, block it, and move on with your day. But then, a few really sharp people took a second look, and they realized, wait a minute, this isn't random junk at all. The posts were incredibly precise, nothing ever repeated, and there was a clear, unmistakable pattern under it all. This wasn't chaos. This was deliberate. And right there, that was the game changer. That's the moment it hit them. They weren't looking at spam. They were looking at a message, a really, really sophisticated cipher. It was like finding a whole bunch of locked treasure chests, but nobody, and I mean nobody, had the key. The hunt was officially on.
So what happens when the internet finds a good puzzle? You know what happens. It assembles its best and brightest. The call went out, and this incredible kind of motley crew started to come together from all corners of the web.
Right away, a new community popped up, r/solving A585. This became the digital headquarters, the command center for the whole operation. Thousands of curious users just flocked there, all ready to pool their brainpower and try to crack this thing wide open. And the team that formed was just wow. You had top-tier programmers, data analysts who could see patterns in anything, and actual professional cryptographers. There were even users with military backgrounds who looked at the code and said, this looks familiar. It turned into this massive, global, crowdsourced mission.
And it didn't take long for the experts to all agree on one thing. The sheer amount of data, the relentless posting schedule, the layers upon layers of encryption, there was just no way one person was doing this. Not a chance. They realized they weren't dealing with some clever lone wolf. They were up against a team, an organization.
So, after who knows how many sleepless nights, the codebreakers started to make progress. They started finding a few little cracks in the wall. And what they found on the other side, well, it was way weirder and way more fascinating than anyone could have possibly imagined.
I mean, listen to this. The stuff they decoded was completely all over the place. One day it's an ASCII art image of a star. The next it's a random paragraph from some obscure philosophy book. Then, boom, a table of scientific data, or a set of map coordinates, or even a weird audio file. There was no rhyme or reason to it. It was like a scavenger hunt where none of the clues connected to each other.
This quote from one of the solvers really sums up the whole vibe perfectly. The initial fun of just solving a cool puzzle started to fade, and this feeling of, well, awe and maybe even a little bit of fear started to creep in. The skill level here was off the charts. This was the real deal.
Which, of course, led to the two massive questions that nobody could answer. First off, why? What was the purpose of sending all these disconnected, random bits of information? And the big one, who in the world was behind 855? And this is where the story takes a much darker turn. Remember those folks with military experience? Well, they noticed something that sent a chill down everyone's spine. The structure of the code, the way the data was packaged, it looked disturbingly similar to how intelligence agencies handle classified information. A new theory started floating around, and it was a heavy one, that someone was using Reddit as a dead drop, a public place to pass secret messages right under everyone's noses.
So just when the community felt like they were on the verge of a breakthrough,
just as the theories were getting really serious, the people behind the curtain made their final and most dramatic move.
One of the last complex messages they managed to crack was just bizarre. It said, "We are grateful for your cooperation." And everyone was like, wait, whose cooperation? Nobody on the solving team was cooperating with them. It felt like a message that wasn't meant for them at all, but for some secret partner who was also in on the whole thing.
And then, right after that cryptic message, poof, it was all gone. Every single post from the A858 accounts, we're talking years of code, just vanished in a single instant, wiped completely clean.
But that wasn't even the craziest part. The real bombshell was this. A Reddit administrator actually posted in the r/solving A858 subreddit and then locked it down. And their message? We were forced to stop the activity of this subreddit at the request of unknown persons. Just let that sink in. Unknown persons had enough pull to force Reddit to shut the whole investigation down. That one sentence just lit a fire under every single conspiracy theory out there.
So the and came fast and hard. The posts get deleted from existence. Then the subreddit where everyone was working gets shut down by Reddit's own admins. A few months go by and the account actually comes back, but it's just posting meaningless garbage, almost like a ghost in the machine. And then, silence. It went dark for good. The trail just went completely cold.
Okay, so here we are, years later, and the mystery is still just as deep as ever. The case is stone cold. All we have left now are the theories, right? Everyone's best guess at what on earth was actually going on.
Let's run through the big ones. Theory number one, and the one a lot of people lean towards, is an intelligence agency. Spies, using Reddit as a secret communication channel. The code structure and that wild admin post about unknown persons really seems to back that up. Then there's the idea that it was some super advanced university project testing cryptography. It's plausible, sure, but why the forced shutdown? Some people hoped it was an elaborate alternate reality game, an ARG, but those games are supposed to have an ending. This one just vanished. And of course, there's simple steganography, the art of fighting messages in plain sight, which, that's literally what was happening.
But here's the thing, not a single one of those theories can explain everything. You can poke pretty big holes in all of them. And that's what makes the A858 mystery so legendary. It's one of the rare times the entire internet hive mind threw everything it had at a problem and failed. They hit a brick wall, and it seems like that wall was put there by someone very powerful.
Which leaves us with this one, final, and really unsettling question, doesn't it? Was this all just some incredibly complex game? Or did a bunch of curious people on the internet accidentally stumble onto something real? Did they pull back a curtain they were never, ever supposed to touch and get a quiet, forceful tap on the shoulder telling them to walk away and forget everything they saw? That, right there, is the legacy of 885, the code that was almost cracked and the one mystery the internet wasn't allowed to solve.